World, this is MEZONIC. I'm an international hip hop artist, songwriter, and producer. I want to continue from the last video about building black wealth. But before I do that, let me just show you my CD right quick. This is called Inspire 2. You could order this CD directly, and it's going to be $15 if you order the hard copy like this. I'm going to have it in stores, but if you want a hard copy right now, it will be $15. If you want a t-shirt and a CD, it will be $25. So you could go to my website, which is www.mrpellc.com/inspire and the number 2. And I'm going to have that link right under the video, so it will be easy for you to find. But you'll see the PayPal button. All you got to do is click on that $15, and once I see your order, I'll ship it out to you. Okay, so talking about building black wealth, part 2. We want to start with churches. We want to start with churches because black churches have a lot of power, and sometimes they don't even know that. So the churches, just like I was stating on the last video, churches have to maybe start with a savings club, something like the Christmas club. So you have 10 black churches. After they pay all the expenses every week, they could take out a huge amount, like $1,000. But with $1,000, each church could put that money together and basically, almost like a Susu. I don't know if everyone knows what a Susu is, but it's just another way to save. But if you have 10 churches putting $1,000 together, that's basically that money. They could use that money to do things like providing daycares in the neighborhood. They could buy or build apartments. They could definitely build trade schools, or buy like buildings to start like a trade school in a community. So all these things are going to help out the community. Of course, I could go on and on with stuff they could do, but that's not important. The most important aspect of this is black churches. The pastors need to get with other pastors in the community. I'm not talking about statewide like other states. I'm talking about in your city. They could do it in other states as well, but it's easier to start in one city first. Have a team of maybe 10 churches, and then they could start working with, for instance, 10 churches in Charlotte start working with 10 churches in Atlanta, and next thing you know, you got a huge pot of money that they could really use to affect positive change in the community. The next thing I want to talk about is trade. So trade school is very important. Nowadays people have to start thinking about doing trades. There's nothing wrong with getting your full-year degree. You gotta realize that when unless you have money or your parents really have money like that, when you graduate, you're gonna have student loan debt. But trade schools, you could kind of pay out of pocket, so it makes it easier and better. You could get certifications before going to college. And if you have a certification, for instance, like a LPN, licensed practical nurse, or whatever it is, certification before you actually do the nursing program, you're already like 10 steps ahead, because you could be making like $25, 20, whatever, before you even graduate, and that's even better. So it's always good for people to get certifications. For the guys, while you're in high school, I'm talking about while you're in high school, or it's not only for high school students, it's for everybody really. So some people might just want to go back to school. They're thinking about doing a whole bachelor's associate's program. You don't have to do that. You could do a trade. You could get a certification, and you could make probably even more money. So you got to look into what you really want to do and find a certification that's really going to be worth it, because most of the time you're going to be paying that out of pocket. But you could also find funding for that as well. The next thing I want to talk about is doing some sort of entrepreneur course or business course, learning how to do contracts, learning how to market, learning how to do promotions. I went to business school. I earned my MBA degree back in '06. So this was a long time ago, but I did it for myself. I did it so I could learn how to start a business from scratch and see that business grow. I mean, I have a lot of business experience when it comes to starting my own thing, my own business, and seeing it work, and actually getting it to the point where I'm signing contracts and all of that. So I've done that. But basically, I urge every black person, whether you're old or young, whether you're already out of school and you're feeling hopeless, take one course or two courses of like business courses that's really going to be meaningful. I would say entrepreneur courses because they'll really give you an all around knowledge on business. The next thing I want to touch on is uh, consultation. So basically, you need to consult with people who have better knowledge about certain things. If you're not sure about an area you want to get in, you need to definitely do some research. But you could always ask around. There are always people around doing that. So nowadays, a lot of people are graduating from schools and they're not really finding work. Well, another way to get in the workforce is once upon graduation. If you're not gonna find work within that month, and you're probably gonna be doing interviews, but I would say try to volunteer. So look for volunteering situations in your community, whether it's with Habitat for Humanity, depending on what your background is. Some companies will even take volunteers so you could get some type of experience. Another thing is, like I stated in the last video, you need to be open-minded. So you probably need to get your passport and start looking for work overseas, because 9 times out of 10 they have teaching opportunities and other opportunities in foreign countries that you could go do, and you will probably make even more money, because if they send you over there, they're probably going to provide you with housing and a vehicle, so you'll be able to move around and have a place to stay. They'll be paying for that, and it might be giving you extra money on top of that. So you need to look into stuff like that. Once you graduate, you can't find a job, please don't feel hopeless. Start trying to volunteer, start trying to learn, start trying to get certifications. I know you feel like you've been to school for 4 years, you want to rest, whatever the case. As a black person living in this country, you really have to be proactive and start making things happen. So just to recap, the second part of this video, black churches have the power to really do bigger things for the communities. Instead of just preaching and taking that money and giving it to the white man, and they investing, or even just doing whatever with your money, you have the power as well to basically affect change. You have to work with other churches to pull money together and do bigger things that will really help the community at large. The next thing is for people to consider trade schools or certifications even before going to college. So before you even go to college, or for those who haven't gone to college at all, this is still great because you can still do this. But yeah, try to get certifications or try to go to a trade school and learn something practical, because that way you could, for instance, a trade school, if you learn how to be a computer technician, like before going to college, or even whenever, or if you learn HVAC work, you could basically get on Craigslist and make money without anything. You get on Craigslist and post your advertisement, and next thing you know, you got people calling you and you making money for yourself. And if you don't have time to really go to a business course or anything, you could still find consultants in your area that will give you little tips here and there to really help you. I will help you, and I'll provide that information later. So upon graduating, if you can't find work, try to look for companies or small businesses that's looking for volunteers, and try to volunteer and either learn something new, so you know, that way in addition to your degree, you're also going to be learning how to do something else. And if you can't find work at all, I mean, please be open-minded. Get your passports ready, and start looking for opportunities overseas. You could find contracts in Kuwait or the Middle East, for instance, for like electronics technician or electronics engineers. In the Middle East, you could make 2-3 times what you make here, sometimes tax free. So if you go there just for 1-2 years, you might be coming back with a whole mortgage payment. So if you come back here with a mortgage payment plus, you have a head start over everybody. I mean, even if you don't want to invest all your money into the buying a house, or you could do like actually buy a business, or you could pay half on a house, which would still be better than starting from square zero. So please be open-minded about that. If you graduated from college and you can't find work, start looking for overseas contract opportunities. um so in a nutshell, that's part 2 of building black wealth. I'm probably gonna have 2 more parts to this, and I'll move on to something else. But the next thing I want to do, I want to plug my album again. This album. I talked about a lot of stuff on this music. A lot of people think you can't teach people in music. That's a lie. You could teach people a lot in music. This is called Inspire 2. Get your copy today. Go to my website and order your hard copy, or you could go on iTunes. It's all over the internet. And I'm definitely going to get it in major stores. So I'm talking to a few distributors now. But get your copy of this CD, and you'll be shocked at what you learn on the CD. I mean, I'm talking about a variety of topics that's really important to everyone. Everything from education to the same things I'm talking about, traveling, and of course, black people loving each other and not killing each other like what everybody else is spitting on music. The next thing is consultation. So if you need some help, just for me to kind of explain something more to you, like you starting your own business and you don't know where to start, what to do, you need some ideas, I'm going to only charge you a flat fee of $50. $50, and I'll direct you on how to pay, but you're going to have to contact me on Facebook, or you could even contact me. I'm going to just go ahead and give you my email right quick. You know what? Just contact me on Facebook, or contact me under the comments section, and I'll get to you. Or you can inbox me on YouTube as well. So do that, and I'll get to you. The next thing is I also do music production. So for all you artists out there looking for beats and all that stuff, like different sounding beats, international sounding beats, I have all of that on my website. It's mrpellc.com/beats, BEATZ. So the last plug is I do computer and TV repairs, and I also do other electronics. But if you're having, I'm just gonna focus on TVs because everybody got TVs now, and some people don't want to spend a lot of money. If you're having an issue with your TV, you could contact me. You could